Seems like all I've been doing is talking today. I'm not sure how many radio stations and interviews we did, but football season's here. 2018 season is here, and it's a lot of excitement, anticipation, maybe higher than it's ever been here. That's what we want to be a part of. Hopefully, we've got something to do with those expectations and the excitement level being as high as it is. For me, I feel the same way. I'm just really, really anxious to get out there and see what this group of guys can become. We're excited about the athletic ability that we've put together in this team. We've recruited every young man that's a part of our program at this point over the last 4.5 years to go into year 5, and we feel like we're going to be putting our most athletic team on the field. More experience than we had a year ago, which we knew was a big concern going into last season. It obviously showed itself several times throughout the year, and so we're hoping to overcome that. But this group has worked extremely hard and has a chip on their shoulder to overcome last year's failures and some areas that we just fell apart. And I think they've approached January to now the right way to give us a chance to go into this fall and have what could be a special year. So flattered with how we've been perceived coming into the season with the rankings and in terms of how some of the media have talked about us and just the exposure these guys have gotten. But ultimately, it only really matters what we produce on the field. And so as much as we want to be in that conversation every year, we want to be the team that is looked at to lead the league and the team that's nationally ranked. We want to get comfortable in that environment. It's really about channeling our focus to just working one day at a time and producing on a weekly basis and letting the smoke clear at the end of the year and be in that conversation then. So that's really where we're headed. A couple guys that will not be here today and tomorrow, but will be in the group. Omar Bayless had a death in the family. He's got a funeral tomorrow, so he won't get with us till Sunday. Still waiting on Thomas Toki to just clean up a couple things in terms of paperwork, and should be here in the next couple of days. But beyond that, we're at full strength and we're healthy, and with the exception of Tony Adams, who had a summer pec injury that is going to have him out for a little bit. We're healthier than we've ever been, and ready to go to work, and I think really eager to go to work as well. So hopefully you're just as eager. And thank you guys for being here today, making the day special for the kids. There's not every place that puts together a reporting day quite like we did and what you guys allow us to do, and the individual attention that they get. It generates the excitement and helps us kind of go into the work mode first thing in the morning, so we appreciate what you do. Questions?
Coach, the expectations seem to be so high because of a lot of how talented the wide receiving core is for you. How good do you think that these guys can be for you this year?
That's hard really to put a to put a label on that. Obviously it's an extremely talented group, and you're right. I think one of the best things about that particular room is we're not just counting on one guy to carry the load. There's several big time players in the room, and I think they feed off each other. We're really at any point welcome to have any of those guys on the field. We're not in. I think a lot of cases you get one marquee player, and the drop off between 1 and 2 is significant. In our room, especially at those positions, the drop off between 1, 2, and 3, you don't know the difference. It allows us to play a lot of guys, keep them fresh, keep them healthy, and when you get 85, 90 snaps a game, at the end of the game, it matters. So. I don't know, and it's not all on them too. I really think this offense, everybody expects that they got to pick up the slack and play. But we get a talented group. We're going to lean on them. We expect them to play well and play well early. But we feel the same way about the run game and what we do up front. That's where we need the biggest improvement, to be honest with you.
You mentioned the running game. You get Armon way back this year for a 6th year. What does that do to help your team this year?
Huge for us in the fact that NCAA made a good decision and gave him the year back. It was well deserved, and huge in the fact that he's finally healthy, feels like himself, has confidence to run the way he's capable of. We only saw a glimpse of it before he got hurt a few years ago in that Auburn game. We'd seen just a couple carries of what he looks like when he's at his best. And if you paid attention to spring, may have had the best spring of anybody definitely probably the most improved spring of anybody. That last week, you could see a guy really getting confident. And we do need to run the ball better. That just doesn't just deal with the running backs, but collectively, offensively. And adding him to the mix, as well as a guy like Kirk Merritt and Jamal Jones, maybe his role picking up some. All those guys are big pieces to that puzzle. But Armand Wayway didn't leave to go home when everybody else did, stayed here. If you ask Pat Ivy, he'll tell you that he had maybe the best summer of anybody in terms of body maintenance and taking care of himself and extra work. I think he's coming in with a great attitude towards fall.
Despite how good they are this year, do you miss some of those graduated senior pass catchers from last year, especially somebody like Blake Mack?
Well, Blake caught a bunch of balls, no doubt, and that role of that tight end group is going to be different. We don't have another Blake Mack in the room. He's a unique animal, and I think they're figuring that out at the next level. So that position is going to look different, but the productivity that we got from him can be found in other areas, and it'll look different. It's a good thing about our system. It's really versatile, and you can maneuver just formationally some things to allow other guys to step up. That's where we need Darvion Brown. Omar Bayless can play in the slot. Kirk Merritt was brought in for that purpose. Utilize some of those big, tall guys. It may not look quite like what Blake did, but we're going to spread it around. I also think that's one of the best things we've done through the years is we've spread the ball around equally to everybody. Makes us really tough to defend. We'll look different, but I think we'll still have a chance to be very productive and explosive with the addition of a few guys to the mix.
How do you feel about the expectations? It seems like there's more this year than I can ever remember.
Well, definitely the highest, in terms of level of expectation that since I've been here. So going in year 5, I think everybody was just getting to know us year 1, and year 2, I think we surprised some people. Year 3 and 4, there were ups and downs of both, but it seems as if going in this season that it's the highest level of expectation. That's what I want it to be every year. I mean, we want to build this thing so that the expectations are sky high every season, and we want to stabilize the team where we can compete at that level. And I need our guys to get comfortable in that environment. They've just not been there. I mean, this will be the first time that I know of, and you guys know better than I do, that anything in terms of national recognition going into the season, whether it be top 25 or top 40, this is the first time that I know of in school history. So we got to get to a point where we can be there, be comfortable in it, and block it out, Matt. And so I'm excited that we're getting into that direction, and that's becoming more of a norm. I'm excited that we've got tremendous support and the fan base, and the Red Wolf Nation is fired up for the season. But at the same time, tomorrow morning when we walk on the field, I don't want anybody thinking about that crap anymore. I mean, I want them just thinking about getting better. And those of you guys that talk to players today, I think you found from them there's a sense of or a chip or a sense of redemption, because we just didn't play as well as we were capable of a year ago. And not to put words in their mouth, but there's work to be done, and I think they're very aware of that. We've made that clear, and they feel that way.
In terms of fall camp starting up, what are just some of the position battles that you think are going to be out there to be up for grabs?
There's some guys we got to replace. You mentioned Blake Mack. We got 3 tight ends all vying to be the guy. I think they'll probably all play. Question is kind of what roles they get. On the offensive line, right tackle is really a spot of concern. We have talent there, but we weren't able to solidify that spot in the spring due to injury and due to lack of reps at times for some guys. And so we got to secure right tackle. I think both the guard spots is a great competition because there's guys that are all capable and vying for spots. Defensively, we got to replace Javon Jones's productivity, and probably not going to be one guy that can do that, but a group of guys. Mike linebacker, huge concern. Kyle Wilson was a great player for us. And then corner, you lose Blaze Taylor, who played basically every snap for the last 4 years. Even Nehemiah Wagner played significant snaps. So we need some guys to step in. So it's not like we're rolling out 22 positions that are all sound and solid. We feel good about the athletes going out there, but we do have to battle and create some two deeps and really see who's going to step up.
Last year, safeties were one of the biggest question marks heading into the season. How good is it that the safety spot is very solidified for you?
Yeah, we've got some veteran players there that have stayed healthy through the offseason and had good spring and summer work. BJ, DJ, Mike Johnson, Justin Clifton, he's played almost every snap since he's been here. So we need those guys to play like veterans, and we need to carry themselves like veterans to maybe overcome some of the deficiencies in terms of just snaps, not so much athletically, but just lack of experience at the corner position and the Mike linebacker position. Hoping that our defensive line can be dominant enough to take some pressure off the Mike linebacker spot, and that those safeties can play well enough, again, to come in behind them. And, we can do it collectively defensively. But, that group, I really felt comfortable with how they prepared in the spring. Thought B.J. Edmonds got better and better every day, kind of settling in Darian Jackson into a position. He had bounced everywhere, settling him in. He got better and better every day, and Jay Cliff's as solid as they come.
How do you plan to use the new red shirt rule?
I think it's going to be really fluid, to be honest with you. Our roster is still not at full strength. We're still going to be at 72, 73 scholarship players, recruited scholarship players this season. Now, we're going to add some walk-on guys to the number, but in terms of recruited scholarship players, we're still well away from the 85 spot. And with that being said, we got to do whatever we got to do to fill the two deeps, to play special teams, play offense and defense. If the luxury provides itself to stagger a couple guys and play 4 with one guy and 4 with another and maintain a redshirt year, we'll try to do that. But that's all dictated off whether or not we have injuries or if guys can step in and play a more significant role. So I think we're going to have to be just going to kind of have to keep an eye on it every week and just play it as it comes. We're just not in a position to prepare going into it until our two deep is solidified, that we're going to able to really just play a guy 4 games. We're not in that. We don't have that luxury, to be honest with you.
I feel like it's a good rule.
I do. I think it's a long time coming, and it would have benefited some of the guys on our roster. There's several guys on our roster that would still have a year left had that rule been in place. Donovan Ransom had an injury that didn't fit the time frame. That one comes to mind. I remember a knee injury. Seemed like there was another guy we talked about the other day that would still have one. I think they got it right. We've been voting on it for years, and we finally put it into place. It will be interesting to see how some people use it. We're in a position where we need to try to win every game we can, and we don't have the luxury of compromising our athletic ability to preserve a guy. If it happens, we'll be happy to use it.
How many walk-ons do you think could earn a scholarship this fall?
As many as 10. So, if we're setting it, we're going to get to 85 when it's all said and done. So we have as many as 10 spots that can be taken up by walk-ons. And it's guys that do a great job, and some of them will play. Some of them won't play at all, but they're great teammates, and they'll do a great job on the scout team, and they'll be good students. And, our GPA is above a 3.0, and those are walk-ons and scholarship players alike, so they're doing their part already. It's good. It's fun to reward those guys. I find it funny. It's not funny. I wish I could do this. I love to see these scholarship reveals where they got one guy out there and they give him a scholarship in the middle of spring. I'd have to find a way to do 10 of them at once, I guess. I don't know. It's just not quite the same environment. But we're getting there every year. Every year we're getting a little bit better. And we had a couple more spots and we reduced our holes a little bit. But it's just, in the environment we got now, it's hard to do it overnight. You just don't have that luxury.
What kind of impression has Justice given you heading into this camp?
Solid, really solid. Very, very businesslike, very prepared, very serious about it, very comfortable, I think. Confident would be a word that comes to mind. Really confident in how he's prepared, how his body is, and his understanding of what we're doing. And I think really comfortable in his leadership role, kind of in his own skin. Not sure he was a year ago. I'd changed a lot of things on him offensively a year ago, and I think he was still trying to feel his way. I feel much more confident in where he's at going into this fall.
So do you have a different feel, like going into this fall camp than the previous 4 years? Is there anything different for you?
Wow, good question. Friends of mine would tell you, I've been in the quit talking about it and just go to work mode since about January. And I kind of feel a little bit like that, just drown out distractions and just go out and do the work and truly try to focus, do my best so that I can put my my coaches and my players in their best situation. So obviously we got to talk about it as part of it, and it gets energy going and gets excitement. But there's a little bit of just, man, let's just go to work, just drown out the noise and just go to work.
What has to happen in fall camp for you to consider it a success?
Well, we got to pick up where we left off. I don't want to take steps backwards. And we need to see some guys just continue to emerge as leaders on both sides. I think we've taken good steps in that direction. And I think I've got to be able to see within our team that we're truly focusing on a one day at a time work mentality. I mean, it's always been for us outwork, outrun, out hit the opponent, and that's what the next 2.5 weeks has got to be about. I like the group we have going in. I mean, the personality, the culture of the team is where we want it to be. We need to stay healthy. We're not deep enough to lose significant players, but we still need to hit and tackle. So I'm going to be holding my breath in practice at times to do the work we need to get ready, but hope we can stay healthy at the same time. Fortunately we got through spring that way. We need this first 2.5 weeks of fall camp to be the same way.
From a recruiting standpoint, this time last year you guys were almost done, and the numbers in the 19 class hadn't came together quite as quickly. How much of that is just being able to be more selective?
Well, we're halfway through the class. I mean, we got 25, and I think we already got 15 committed. Now, it's non-traditional, blue shirts and one gray shirt, and then guys that we got committed. So I'm not in a hurry at all. I kind of like the fact that there's some spots still available. We're recruiting and battling some Power 5 programs on guys that are not ready to say yes yet. Even some that have said yes to some Power 5 programs that are still in constant communication with us that are, hey, Coach, I'm not quite, just don't stop recruiting me. If we can have the season that we're capable of having and we can go out and do something that has not been done here before and put ourselves in that kind of conversation, I'd like to think some of those battles will come back toward us at the end.
Coach, a lot of times you'll see guys make a big jump from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah.
Any guys that you anticipate that happening?
Wow. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I think, and the reason I say that is I think you're going to see some big-time plays out of a guy like Kevin Thurman. He didn't play for us last year, though, but he is a year 2 guy. Adahu Green, Ababa Agbabar, those are guys that we've been working with that y'all just hadn't seen. Those come to mind. I think Jacob Steele has really grown up over the offseason as a center. I mean, he was really thrown out there well before he should have to have been a year ago. I'm glad he played like he did, but he's a guy that comes to mind that I could see really benefiting from the experience that he got a year ago in that position specifically. Raheem Bingham, he already has in my mind in terms of what he did in the spring, but obviously needs to produce that on the field as well. Those are just a few. There's bound to be others I'm forgetting, but those are a few that really kind of jump out. Anybody else?
Guys, it's 19 points in the coaches' poll came out today. I think Troy had the same amount after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
Step in the right direction. Step in the right direction that our conference, Sunbelt Conference, is getting the recognition it deserves, and we need to take advantage of that. And we need to go out and play really well in non-conference play and maintain that momentum. But it's good to see that people across the country that are voting are starting to recognize that there's good football being played in this league. That they tried to keep us at the bottom of the conversation for years, and it's just not true. We've got the best bowl record the last 4 years, as a league, and we've had some significant wins. Hopefully we can continue that. I think we would all tell you that we have missed some opportunities in preseason and non-conference, and we're all collectively talking about the same thing. We got to go out and produce in preseason. We can't just wait on bowl season to tell the story of our conference. We got to go out and produce in non-conference play, or we're not going to be able to capitalize on what on those kind of preseason thoughts and rankings.
Warren Wand is he's trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you think that'll help him? What difference does that make for him?
I think it just gives him a step or two. I think he got a little heavy at one point, felt like he was a little bulky. And there's a fine line because of just the style of play and just the way his body is put together. You want to be durable and powerful, but you don't want to lose your quickness. And I think he's found a spot where he feels comfortable, and I think it's probably more realistic of where he needed to be all along. Anything else, guys or gals? All right, thanks, y'all. See y'all. See you in the morning.